Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking through some player props I like on Prizepicks for the Week 6 NFL slate. We're going to be focusing strictly on the Sunday slate, so all the games that are happening on Sunday. I think we have I want to say 12 or 13 total games on Sunday. We do have another London game, so there is an early game. Not going to give out any plays in that one, but we do have an early game. Obviously, we have Sunday Night Football as well, but a big slate of games, and I got 4 player props, guys, that I'm going to give out in this video. 4 picks I like for this Sunday slate. So as always, before we do get started breaking down these plays, if you guys do enjoy these Prizepicks videos, if they do help you out, please hit that like button down below. I do always appreciate the likes. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And if you guys are new to the channel and if you have never checked out Prizepicks before, you guys can actually sign up for Prizepicks. You can use my promo code NOAH. When you do sign up, you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. When you sign up for Prizepicks with my promo code, be sure to check them out if you guys have not yet. I also do want to give a quick shout out to Sleeper because we are partnered up with Sleeper as well. And if you guys are not signed up for Sleeper, you can download their app either on the App Store or on the Google Play Store, whether you have an iPhone or an Android. Download their app, sign up, make a deposit, and when you do use that promo code NOAH on your first deposit, you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. So you deposit $50, they'll give you an additional $50 to play with. You deposit $100, they'll give you an additional $100 to play with. And Sleeper is a lot similar to Prizepicks and Underdog, all these other DFS pick'em sites. But on Sleeper, it is a dynamic payout system. So what that does mean is basically whether you take the over or the under on a certain prop, the payouts do change, given what you take. The over, let's say the over has a high chance of hitting, you obviously get, like a lower payout for that. But on the other hand, the under may not have a super high chance of hitting, so they'll entice you with like a really high payout. And on Sleeper, you can take props you can take touchdown props for players that, are not on the board on Prizepicks and get like a 2.5x, 3x multiplier for that specific play. So with Sleeper, there's not a ton of limits when it comes to how much they can offer in terms of payouts. On Sleeper, you are allowed to win up to 100x your money, so you can really make some high payout entries over on Sleeper. And if you're one of those people that likes to chase those high payouts, I definitely recommend giving Sleeper a try. Be sure to use that code NOAH when you sign up, and you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. But let's go ahead and talk through this Prizepicks slate, guys. Week 6, what I'm liking for this Week 6 slate. Got 4 plays we're going to give out in this video. We're going to start off in the pass attempts category, and the first play we're going to be looking at is going to be Justin Fields, 26.5 pass attempts. And I like the over here, more than 26.5 pass attempts for Justin Fields. Now, if we take a look at Fields this season in their 5 games played, he has gone over this line in 4 out of 5 games. The 1 week where he went under was against Kansas City, and that was a game where Chicago got absolutely destroyed. They lost that game 10-41. So that was the one game where Fields went under. He threw for less than 100 passing yards in that game. But the last few weeks, especially the last 2 weeks, we've really seen the Bears let Fields drop back a lot more. He's been throwing the ball a lot more. The last 2 weeks, he's thrown the ball for 335 yards, 282 yards on 35 and 29 pass attempts. So the volume has been there. He's been a pretty efficient passer lately. Obviously, we don't really care about efficiency. We just want the volume when we're betting on pass attempts. And as of late, the volume has been there. I think it's a pretty good matchup as well against Minnesota. The Vikings are one of the most pass-heavy offenses in the league. So this Vikings team, they're going to be throwing the ball a lot, which obviously helps to keep the clock, which helps to slow the clock down. Like when teams are constantly running the ball, that's just going to kill the clock and it's going to keep the other offense off the field. Well, that's not the case with this Minnesota team. This Minnesota team throws the ball a ton, which obviously can lead to incompletion, stopping the clock. It just makes the game last a little bit longer when teams throw the ball more, and facing a team, one of the most pass-heavy teams in the league, we should see more opportunities for Justin Fields to be on the field, potentially more plays for the Bears to run. And I think that's a main reason this play really stands out. It's a really good matchup. The game environment, I think, solid as well. This game does have a pretty decent total. The only concern I do have is that this game does have some weather concerns. If you look right now, it looks like there's going to be rain in Chicago, but it should be over by the time the game starts. There might be a lingering shower during the game, but there will be wind, 15 to 20 mile per hour sustained winds with gusts around 30. I typically don't get too worried about wind because a lot of times, unless it's like 30, 40 mile per hour winds, like the whole game, I think that's when it has a big effect on the passing game. I mean, 15 to 20 mile per hour winds, is probably going to affect deep balls and stuff like that. But these teams are not just going to not throw the ball because there's 15, 20 mile per hour wind. they might not throw the ball deep a ton because the wind could affect those deep balls. But I think we should still see the volume here for Justin Fields. And the market agrees with this play as well, because if you look on DK Sportsbook right now and you go under the pass attempts prop category, and if you look at right now Justin Fields pass attempts prop on DK Sportsbook, it is minus 135 favoring the over. So I like this play quite a bit. I think 26.5 pass attempts with the volume that Fields has had this season, throwing the ball wise, I think this is a line he can definitely go over. Also, don't mind taking his over on passing yards. That was a line I was also looking at. He's over this line in 4 out of 5 games. Last 2 weeks, he's had a ton of passing yards. Again, there's win concern, but I'm not too worried about it. I think Fields is still going to have to throw the ball a decent amount here, and I like the matchup against Minnesota. I think this is a game where the Bears should be able to run more plays because of how fast this Minnesota offense plays with how much Minnesota throws the ball. That's going to allow this Bears offense to get more plays run as well, which hopefully should mean more pass attempts for Justin Fields. So kind of like both those plays, but for the sake of this video, we're going to be taking the over on 26.5 pass attempts as our first play for today. Next play I like, going to go the pass completions prop. Going to take a look at Joe Burrow, 24.5 pass completions. And I also like the over here, more than 24.5 pass completions for Joe Burrow. Now, if we take a look at DK Sportsbook right now, look at the pass completions prop. Joe Burrow is minus 140 favored to go over 24.5 pass completions. So getting this prop at minus 140, or getting a minus 140 prop on Prizepicks is always going to be a profitable bet for you. Wouldn't be surprised if you do see Prizepicks bump this line up to 25 at some point. But taking a look at Burrow this season, you look at his pass completions line, how much he's gone over this line. 3 out of 5 games he has gone over. But let's take a look at the 2 games he went under. Against Tennessee in I think that was week 4, and then in week 1 against Cleveland, he went under this line. But if you look in those 2 games against Tennessee and against Cleveland, those were 2 games where the Bengals literally scored 3 points. Against Cleveland, they scored 3 points, and against Tennessee, they scored 3 points. Their offense was absolutely terrible in those games. The other games, their offense looked much better, and especially last week. I think last week was a real promise. Obviously, they were facing the Cardinals. That was a really easy matchup for the Bengals. But the Bengals offense looked really good last week. They were driving the ball down the field. They were able to put up points. They put up 34 points on the Cardinals last week. And we saw Joe Burrow throw the ball 46 times in that game against Arizona, had 36 pass completions. He threw the ball 49 times against the Rams. He threw the ball 41 times against Baltimore. Like, the volume has really, it's been there for Joe Burrow. And I know there's been some concerns about this calf injury that he has suffered, but it seems to be behind him at this point. He's been throwing the ball a ton. The volume's been there. And this is a Bengals offense that has typically been a pass-heavy offense. They don't really ever have a ton of success running the ball. Joe Mixon's going to get a lot of volume on the ground, but the efficiency for Joe Mixon's never really been great. This Bengals offense, they're at their best when they're throwing the ball and moving the ball down the field with these elite receivers they have. Obviously, Burrow's a very talented quarterback. And I think this matchup against Seattle is a decent one. I mean, Seattle's defense is not bad by any means, but I think this is a game that we can see be higher scoring. I mean, this game does have a 45 total. The Bengals are at home. The odds on this play being minus 140 make this really stand out. And then you look at the volume that Burrow's had on the pass or in the passing game lately. 45 plus pass attempts in 2 out of his last 3 games. 40 plus pass attempts in 3 out of the last 4. If he's going to keep throwing the ball that many times, close to 40 times a game, I would bet on him getting 25 completions more than not. I mean, he's typically a pretty accurate passer. Burrow will throw some deep balls, but he also will throw a lot of shorter routes, a lot of quick slants, and those are obviously some easy completions that he can rack up. So yeah, 24.5 pass completions for Joe Burrow. Like the over here is our second play for today. Third play we're going to take a look at is going to be in the rush attempts category, and we're going to be looking at an under here of Jerome Ford, 11.5 rush attempts, less than that number, less than 11.5 rush attempts. So Jerome Ford this season, 5 games played. I believe he has gone under this line in, I think, 2 out of their 5 games. I think the Prizepicks game log might be messed up. Let me take a look real quick. I was looking at it before I started recording this video. So Ford is, he's over this line in 2 out of 4 games, under in 2 out of 4. For some reason, the Prizepicks game log is not correct. But in their week 1 game, against Cincinnati, I think that was the game that might have been the game Nick Chubb got injured, or I think it was the game after that. But against Cincinnati, Jerome Ford did have 15 carries in that game. And then the game against Pittsburgh, that was the game that Nick Chubb got injured in. He had 16 carries. But then the last 2 weeks, Jerome Ford has only had 10 carries against Tennessee and then 9 carries against Baltimore, as you can see. Now, this matchup against San Francisco is a really tough one. This 49ers defense they're a very tough team to run on. I mean, if you look at rush attempts this season, the 49ers are giving up the fewest rush attempts in the league to opposing running backs. So teams are not really running on the 49ers. Teams are having no success running on the 49ers. Now, the Browns are going to be coming into this game without Deshaun Watson. P.J. Walker is going to start at quarterback. I don't know what the Browns' game plan is going to be here offensively. They're 10-point underdogs in this game at home. They're probably going to lose this game by double digits. I mean, I would almost bet on the 49ers covering the spread. I mean, you would think the Browns are going to have to throw the ball in this game because they're most likely going to be trailing. I mean, they're double-digit underdogs. They're starting a backup quarterback. But I could also see them just trying to lean on the running game as much as possible until the game script forces them to throw the ball. But even if they do lean on the running game, like let's say that they come out and they start running the ball a bunch, that doesn't mean that Jerome Ford is just going to get all the carries, because this Browns backfield, they will involve multiple running backs, and we have seen them involve Kareem Hunt. I mean, last week Kareem Hunt played 15 snaps. Pierre Strong played 9 snaps. Jerome Ford has kind of been the lead back, like he's been the RB1, but he's not just getting all the opportunity. They're still going to use Strong. They're still going to use Kareem Hunt, and especially like in passing situations, Kareem Hunt's the guy they usually are going to prefer in passing situations. And if this does wind up being like an ugly game for the Browns, and if they're trailing in this game, that's going to mean a lot of Kareem Hunt on the field and not a lot of Jerome Ford. Like, Jerome Ford is not a guy they're going to use a ton in the passing game. They're going to use Kareem Hunt in the passing game. And again, this is a game where they're expected to be trailing. So I kind of like this under of 11.5 rush attempts for Jerome Ford. I could see this going south, and I could see the Browns just coming out, and just trying to run the ball as much as possible, just to keep the 49ers off the field, just try and kill the clock. Even if they do that, I think we could still hit this under, just because, it's not a guarantee that Ford is just going to get all the carries. They will involve multiple running backs. On DK Sportsbook, the market, they really like this play, because this play on DK Sportsbook right now is favored minus 140, favoring the under on 11.5 rush attempts for Ford. Again, it's not a great matchup. The 49ers have been run on the fewest. They've allowed the fewest rush attempts in the league this season to running backs, largely due to the fact that this 49ers offense is just so good. They're putting up a lot of points, and that's forcing teams to throw. But also, teams are having no success running on the 49ers. Not only are teams not running the ball a ton, I mean, the 49ers are giving up the fewest yards to running backs too. So the Browns can come out here and try and run the ball, but I don't think they're really going to have much success. They're going to probably be forced to throw, and that's what makes me like this under of 11.5 rush attempts for Jerome Ford. And I do want to mention, this is another game that does have some weather concerns. It looks like this is going to be kind of the ugliest game of the week. It does have the lowest total on the slate. It looks like lingering rain looks fairly likely in this game. Winds 15 to 20 mile per hour sustained, with gusts around 30 miles per hour. So this game's going to have some wind. It's going to have some rain. Maybe that means more running the ball, but if that means more running the ball, that means the 49ers are going to be running the ball more, which hopefully will kill the clock, and that'll keep the Browns off the field, give the Browns less offensive possessions. But again, I mean, so many factors here that makes me like this play. Tough matchup. 49ers are a team you can't really run the ball on much this season. The Browns are double-digit dogs in this game, so you would think game script's going to force them to throw. Plus, this play, again, is minus 140 on DK. So all that stuff makes me like less than 11.5 rush attempts for Jerome Ford as our third play for today. And then fourth and final play we're going to take a look at is going to be in the receptions category. Going to go down to Evan Ingram, 4.5 receptions. Like the over here for Evan Ingram, more than 4.5 receptions. Now, if you take a look at Evan Ingram this season, he's over this line in 4 out of their 5 games this year. And the one game where he did not hit was last week against Buffalo, where he had 4 receptions. That was also a game where the Jaguars were playing with a lead pretty much the entire game. They won that game 25-20. Buffalo made a little bit of a late comeback, but the Jaguars, they had the lead for a large majority of that game. I want to say Trevor Lawrence did not throw the ball a ton last week. Let's take a look at his pass attempts last week. So last week, Trevor Lawrence threw the ball 37 times. He did have a decent amount of pass attempts, but still, you look at the targets for Evan Ingram, you look at the volume, it's been there consistently on a weekly basis. Only 5 targets in week 1 against the Colts, this same matchup, but he still got 5 catches in that game. And then last 4 weeks, 8 targets, 8 targets, 8 targets, 8 targets. So he's had 8 targets in 4 straight games. He's had at least 5 receptions in 4 out of their 5 games this season. The volume's been there for Evan Ingram. The role's been really good. He's been playing a large majority of the snaps. If you take a look at his snaps this season, 73% of the snaps in week 1, 75% in week 2, 71% in week 3, 73% in week 4, and then last week, 85% of the snaps for Ingram. So he's typically going to play 70 to 80% of the snaps. He's going to be out there for a large majority of the offensive snaps. and he's been a consistent guy that's getting targeted in this Jaguars offense. I want to take a look at their target share this season and see where Ingram sits at in terms of target share. I'm pretty sure he's like second on the team in target share, but I'm going to take a look at that real quick just before we wrap up this play. So looking at target share this season for the Jaguars, Evan Ingram, yes, second on the team in target share, 20.5% target share this year. Christian Kirk leads the team in target share around 24%. Ridley's third on the team, 20%. But if you look at this Jaguars team, like when it comes to who's going to get the targets in this offense, is basically like five guys. Five guys have a target share 10% or higher, and the next guy is Jamal Agnew at 3.3%. So you have Christian Kirk with a 24% target share, Evan Ingram 20.5%, Ridley 20%, Travis Etienne 11.5%, Zay Jones 10%, and then after Zay Jones, it drops all the way down to 3.3% target share for Jamal Agnew. So, a lot of these guys like Jamal Agnew, Tim Jones, these guys are not getting targets at all. Like when Trevor Lawrence is throwing the ball, he's throwing the ball to five guys: Kirk, Ingram, Ridley, Etienne, Jones. Those are the five guys getting a large majority of the targets in this offense, and especially Evan Ingram. He's been the second highest targeted player in this, in this Jaguars offense this season. Good matchup here against the Colts. This game's going to be played in Indy, so it's going to be indoors. Actually, this game's in Jacksonville. My fault. So this game is in Jacksonville, but there's no weather concerns in this game. I don't think there's. It looks like there's going to be some rain, but mostly dry. Wind sustained around 10 miles per hour. Like there's really no weather concerns in this game, which is obviously a good thing. Ingram's going to be out there though for a large majority of the snaps. He's going to be out there running routes. He's been a really good receiving tight end all throughout his career, especially with Jacksonville. He's shown a really good, connection with Trevor Lawrence, and the volume's been great for Ingram. The receptions have been there. At 4.5, I like this over quite a bit. And if you do look at DK Sportsbook right now, Ingram is favored minus 135, I believe, to go over 4.5 receptions. Last time I checked, he was minus 145, and it looks like he still is not minus 145, minus 135. So Evan Ingram minus 135 favored to go over 4.5 receptions. Also makes me like this play quite a bit. When the market, when they're agreeing with you on a play, that's usually always a good sign. So these are the plays, guys, that I do like for this Week 6 Sunday slate. 4 plays for you guys. Justin Fields, more than 26.5 pass attempts. Joe Burrow, more than 24.5 pass completions. Jerome Ford, less than 11.5 rush attempts. And Evan Ingram, more than 4.5 receptions. If you guys are going to be tailing me on these 4 plays, well, damn it, looks like one of our plays just got bumped. That sucks. So Jerome Ford, that line just got moved down to 11. I don't know if I would play it at 11. I guess we could still leave it up there, but yeah, with that line at 11 now, I don't like that nearly as much. That kind of sucks. But that just shows you how this works, man. Like anytime there's good props, like minus 140 props available, they're going to get bumped pretty quickly. So kind of sucks. I don't know if I would take Ford at 11. I think I probably would just take that out. So I guess we're going to be rolling with 3 plays this week. Fields over 26.5 pass attempts, Burrow over 24.5 completions, and then Ingram over 4.5 receptions. I did already put this entry in with Ford, so I'm technically going to still be playing that Ford prop at 11.5. But I don't know for you guys. I don't know if I would play it at 11 just because I guess there's a chance it gets 11. It's a push, whatever. If you want to play it at 11, it's okay. But I definitely would have rather gotten it at 11.5. I think that's where a lot of the value was. But yeah, this is what I like, guys, for this Week 6 slate. If you guys are going to be telling me, wish you the best of luck. Let's try and make some money this week. Appreciate you guys watching the video, though. As always, if you guys enjoyed, hit that like button down below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button as well if you have not yet. Be sure to go check out Prizepicks as well, guys. If you're not signed up for Prizepicks yet, get signed up over there. Use that promo code NOAH when you sign up for Prizepicks, and you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. But yeah, guys, that's all that I got for this Week 6 slate. Appreciate you watching the video as always. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.